when you look in the mirror and you're like, I am out there doing this because I need to make mines. It's going to be very, very hard to work each and every day because you know you are screwing someone over to make a buck. I am taking you on a journey of revival in my life and the life of others in hope that your life will be revived in the process. All right, guys. And so we are back with another podcast episode. And today we're going to be talking about how helping people out will not come back void. And so originally, when I first got started, I heard people say that, by helping other people out, by giving to charities, by doing all these things, how that's not going to negatively affect your business because, it allows you to grow in more ways, and it kind of gives you a drive on why you are wanting to grow is so that you can give back. But for me, originally, I didn't think that was possible. Until I actually started going out and started changing the way that I looked at it. And I started realizing that the whole reason for me to build and create something is going to be to help out other people. And that, by helping out other people and not only seeing their lives changed, it gives a bigger drive in me to keep going harder and to keep doing things more when I am feeling like not doing it anymore. And, when I'm tired, and it kind of gives me an extra drive on why I want to accomplish something. But we're going to get into that more right after we thank our sponsors. Do you want to create a digital empire but don't know how? Well, here's your chance to start a new skill set that will help you do just that. Ace Local Leads is providing a free blueprint guide on how to start a real digital business you 100% control, land real clients, and earn real recurring revenue. The free guide teaches you how to get paid to solve the biggest problem most small businesses have. Download your free guide now and discover 1. A reliable step-by-step method to find and service high-paying clients that will pay $2,500 to $5,000 every month to get the leads their businesses need from you. 2, the secret strategy we use that most agencies don't even consider, and it ends up being their number one fatal flaw. And 3, which is bonus content. No experience? No problem. We'll send you video tips and a real person will answer your questions. Visit CoachTobias.com. That is CoachTobias.com now to get started. Have you wanted to make a podcast but didn't know how to get started? That was me until I found Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That is ANCHOR.FM to get started now. All right, and so we are back. And so today, like I said, we're going to be talking about how helping other people will not come back void. And what I mean by that is that, a lot of times we perceive that if we do all this extra stuff to give back, then we're neglecting our business. We're neglecting what we are doing. We're neglecting what we're creating. And that, the only way to grow a big, huge, profitable business is going to be just focused on those things. But that is so backwards. So I'm going to give you a little bit of context because you have to understand, for me, where I'm coming from, in order to understand how and why I found that helping out and providing, help to different nonprofit organizations or providing help to other people that are in the same or similar situation that I am in. When, I first got started, creating an online business and trying to create a business for myself. And so, let's just go way back. So in high school, that's when I first started giving back and when I first started doing outreach. And by outreach, I mean going out and providing food for the homeless. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. If you've ever been on the West Coast, you'll see that there are a lot of homeless people in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle and California. Like if you go up the West Coast, you'll see there are so many people that are in a worse off situation than I am. And so I would listen to a lot of different business owners, and so many of them would say, yes, the best thing you can do, and it will come full circle and it will directly impact your business, is to give back. And I'm like, what are they talking about? The best way to grow a business is to do the things that you need to do so that you can be profitable in that business, right? That was me in my mindset, because we grow up and we're told to do things a certain way for a majority of our life. I would say most of our life, we're conditioned to be employees, and I'm not knocking employees. Every businesses, they need employees. Every person eventually becomes an employee and learns how to work for someone else. It's very rare that people are just going to start off as an entrepreneur. You may be entrepreneur hearted, but how society works, how our school system works, how everything works from like 0 until 18 to 21 till, whenever you have that light bulb go off in your head that says, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I look around and I see all these digital, online, gurus / online entrepreneurs that are creating something for themselves and giving them a lifestyle that they actually enjoy. Right. And so that was a big thing for me, was looking around and seeing that other people had a life that they enjoyed, doing things that they actually wanted to do, not just going to a job, waking up, showing up on time. When you get there, you're having to do your daily tasks. And the biggest thing that kind of threw me a curveball was that I was busting my butt and I was excelling, but I was getting paid almost less than other people that have been there for 5 or 10 years. And so your pay scale, the amount that you made, was not based upon what you did, but it was based upon how many years you've spent at that company. And so, it was all based upon loyalty. And going to school, you're conditioned to show up on time. You're conditioned to just do what you're told, and to pretty much be an employee. And like multiple times I had different grades and different things in school that I didn't understand, and I wanted to improve. I wanted to become better, because that's just who I am. That's just a big part of who I am, is to try to do the best in what I do, or at least, put in the best effort that I possibly can in the things that I'm doing. And so with that, sorry about that, getting a call, of course, right in the middle of this. But, with that being said, I'm going to literally going to try to excel in every single aspect of my life, which is challenging when you have teachers that are like, a B+ should just be good enough. Everyone else was happy with it. Why are you questioning me? And so you're kind of put in your place where it's like, you do what you're told, you don't ask questions, and we give you what we think you deserve to get. And in the same sense, you transition to being 18 or 16 or 15 when you start working, right? And the same thing happens. You get paid based upon your hourly rate. You trade your time for money, and that's all we really know. And so when I was younger, I started doing homeless ministry and feeding the homeless and going out and hanging out with them. Sometimes they'd play games downtown and just pretty much being there to talk to people who were less fortunate. And the biggest thing I saw from doing that was the people that I would meet. I would meet people that were compassionate. I'm not talking about the homeless people. I'm talking about the other people that went to serve. There were a lot of homeless people that were super compassionate. They would literally give, like, if they got a bag lunch, they would give half of it to their buddy that they knew couldn't make it, or, they'd go out of their way to give them clothes that they acquired in the place that they got it from. Sometimes it would be vans. Sometimes it would be at like shelters. Sometimes it would be us going out with bag lunches out in the streets to, be able to provide food for people who looked like they really needed extra help. And so doing that, I made a whole different dynamic of people. And so I got to meet people who were like-minded, wanted to, help out, wanted to feed the homeless, wanted to just give back, And I made a lot of good friends. I met a lot of people that were compassionate, that wanted to provide a better life for people who were in harder situations. And at that moment, it kind of sparked a little light bulb in my head that said, if I could meet more people like this, maybe I could potentially help their lives out as well. Because the people who are helping out aren't perfect. They're just willing to sacrifice some of their own personal time to give back, right? And so at first I was like, okay, that's great and all, that's awesome. I understand these entrepreneurs, these people who are giving back are like meeting more contacts. But if they're just meeting more contacts, how are they, selling products? How are they growing more? How are they doing things that are going to grow their business, right? And so over time, I set up a business of my own, and I spent all my time just working, meeting up at coffee shops, going to different business meetings. Of course, it was a multi-level marketing type business, but when you're 18, that's usually something that you go into because you're told that you could be the person who's making thousands upon thousands of dollars, and literally you're just ready to run, at that point in your life. Of course, you haven't been hurt by companies like this before. People who are in their 30s, 40s, even 50s will like hate these companies because they've seen the damage they've done to so many people. And I kind of got ostracized by some of the people that I knew because I was doing this type of business. And it was just weird to me because I was like, hey, I'm just trying to better my life, like, why are you hating? But anyways, so I just spent all this time working on my business, and I kind of lost sight of why I was doing what I was doing. I lost sight of what I was trying to accomplish. And so when I dug deep and I started thinking about, hey, I'm not just doing this for me. I'm creating a business so that I can give back. Now, the way that I want to give back is to help out multiple different families to be able to go from a surviving mode where they're employees, they're scraping by, they're barely able to put food on their plate and let alone pay the bills, into a place where they're maintaining, they're kind of living an okay life. They have a business that's running, that's not super profitable at that moment, but they're building it, they're growing it, they're creating something. and then get to the point where they're thriving. They don't have to work a full-time job as an employee. If they don't want to, they can transition that time into a full-time entrepreneur and pretty much create something that they enjoy doing each and every day. And so whether that's, using that as an avenue to pursue music production like myself, or pursue creating a nonprofit organization like my wife wants to do, they're able to create something that is going to provide them happiness. And so that was a big thing to me that actually inspired me to set up a business. And so when I am able to give back, not only when I go out, feed the homeless, or, provide clothes or play games and just hang out with them, right? My mind is able to open up and see that life is really not that bad for me. It may be hard in my eyes, but I am so fortunate to have a house. I'm so fortunate to have a roof over my head. I'm so fortunate to have a car. I'm so fortunate to have both legs to be able to make it to, work and to be able to work, and able to do a lot of things that these homeless people can't do. And so it brings like this compassion into your life, and then it starts opening up your eyes on what you can accomplish by creating a business. So for me, like for the longest time, I would do things just for myself. And I knew I wanted to leave a bigger impact on the world. I knew I wanted to leave a mark, and to leave a legacy onto this world, to show that, I did things that actually impacted lives when I'm not here anymore. And how can I do that if I'm just thinking about myself, right? That's a question I have. How can I do that if I am only benefiting myself? And so I had a hard time overcoming that issue in my life. It kept coming up. It was like, yeah, you're creating a business, but who are you really helping? Are you doing this for you, or are you doing this for someone else? Are you doing this to benefit other people's lives, or are you doing it to benefit your own life? Is it a selfish gain, or is it to help out more people? And so I had to sit on that for a while. I had to look internally for a while and understand why I was doing what I was doing. And as I dug deeper, I realized if I make more money, I can contribute back to my parents' life. They're in a place where they're working, they have debt, they have things that need to be paid off. If I could relieve them of that, how much happiness would be put into their life. They wouldn't have to slave away at a job that they don't enjoy just to be able to survive, If I could help out not only my family's life, but, my in-laws' life in whatever way I could, whatever way I can help, whether that's financially, whether that's spending more time with them and, building a relationship that I wouldn't be able to do if I was working a traditional job, whether that's paying for, their house so that we can all spend more time together and they don't have to bring as much income in each and every month. Like, as I'm doing that, I'm providing back for so many people. As I teach people how to become online entrepreneurs and provide them tools that are going to actually allow them to get from just living and surviving into a place where they're able to thrive, I'm allowing them to not only help their own lives, but their families' lives. And as I make more money, I'm going to contribute into other businesses, whether that's locally or in other locations, whether that's online, whether that's locally. I'm going to put my, money into their business so that they can start thriving as well. So it's not just about me. It's not just about what I can do, but how I can help other people thrive in their lives. And I think the moment that we realize that what we are doing, what we are creating is doing so much more to affect other people's lives, we realize that we're actually doing something good. Until you believe in what you're doing, it's going to be really hard for anyone else to believe in what you are doing as well. Take a moment, soak that in, because it was so hard for me. It's continuously hard for multiple people that I talk to create a business if they don't believe that they're honestly doing something good. If they don't have the belief in themselves, then how can anyone else believe that what you're doing is not selfish? It's not just a gain for what you can get out of it, but what everyone else can get out of it. I think as we start to give back, as we start to, do things that are not just selfish gains, we realize on how much of an impact we can have on other people's lives, but also what other people can have on our lives. As you create more contacts with people at these places, whether that's feeding the homeless, whether that's, getting food boxes ready. I've gone to warehouses feeding Tampa Bay. I've gone there. I've, shrunk wrap a bunch of different pallets. I've helped, sort things and put them in different boxes in different areas so that people could, give food boxes to less fortunate families. And I've done a lot of things that have helped out not only communities, where picking up trash, where, landscaping different people's yards in Oregon, in the Portland area and Lentz community. Like, I've done it all. And I've seen that every time I give, I get something back in return. It's like karma, when you start doing good things or when you start treating people nice, they will start treating you nice in return. You'll start getting things back in return. I noticed that if someone's having a crappy day, they're on the bus or they're on a public transportation, or if they're in the grocery store and I smile at them and I'm nice to them, it's very, very hard for them to be grumpy. It's hard for them to continuously be upset with their life because I'm bringing this positive energy. I'm bringing this, this place where I'm like, hey, yes, you may be hurting, but I'm going to bring you a smile, and that's going to change the course of their energy, of their, the things that they're feeling in that moment, in that place. And so I encourage you guys, if you're in a place in your business where you're kind of, stagnant, you're not really seeing where, where you're going, you're not really seeing the growth that you want to see, I encourage you, go out there and look at local things that are happening in your community. See how you can help. See how you can give back. Because not only will you meet more contacts, those contacts are going to be warm-hearted. They're going to be kind people that may not know how to get from point A to point B. And if you could help them with that, because you're honestly building a real relationship at that point. You're building a real relationship. You're in the foxhole with that person, serving food to the people who are less fortunate. And they are going to feel, the same things that you are feeling, which is, wow, my life is honestly not that bad. It's really not in comparison to everyone else's. They're willing to sacrifice their time to help others. Now, for me, I am looking at helping people in a bigger scale of going from a place of where they are unhappy. They're just doing things because they're doing them because that's all they know. And they don't know how to get out of this place of comfort into a place where they're a little bit more uncomfortable, but it's ultimately going to lead to happiness. It's ultimately going to lead to them enjoying life and not just living, but living an abundant life that is going to be enjoyable, something that they are actually going to enjoy doing each and every day. Bringing that value, that, time freedom, that financial freedom, which I like those words, but realistically, how many people get that? Not a lot. Not a lot. Everyone thinks that you're going to go into a business, you're going to make one move, and that's going to pay you over and over and over again. I've talked about it before. It's like playing the lottery, right? You have this mentality where you're just going to, you're going to go into the casino, right? You're going to grab your chips. You're going to go to the roulette table and you're going to be like, all right, I'm putting all my chips on red. Boom. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. I'm either going to double my money or I'm not going to get anything. I'm just going to put in one effort, put everything on that one spot and hope for the best. We can't go about it like that. We have to understand that as we do things, as we grow in our businesses, as we help more people around us, that's going to come back around. That's going to ultimately grow our business. Those relationships that you make with the people at these volunteer events could ultimately be lifelong relationships. Maybe they know a contact that you don't know. And in your business, you do business to business type contracts, right? And if they know someone that ultimately needs your services, it's going to help you out in the long run. You're not going to feel bad about having this person introduce you to someone else. Why? Because you're in the trenches together. You're giving out food together. You're doing the things to provide back to the community. There's no regret. You're not feeling bad about nothing. And I encourage you to look at what you're doing and understand that by growing a big business, it's not a bad thing. So many people are scared of getting money. They are like, oh, well, like money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. If you worship it, if you have that money to be able to, like that money is the thing that you are idolizing. That may be the root of evil, but having money is not. Money is a tool. Money can take you out of situations that you normally couldn't get out of if you did not have it. By making $100,000 online, I could transition from having to work a job into not having to work a traditional job. But spending my time helping out other people who want to grow a business, by spending my time helping out other people on the streets that need that help from me, because I don't have to spend it at a place where I am exchanging time for money. There is so much value that you can give back once you create something. When you have a business, you're going to directly impact your family and your friends. There's no way you can't. If you make more money and you can afford to take your family on a vacation, would you? Yes. If you could provide that extra help to people who aren't able to have it, which is creating something that is going to give them a long-lasting wealth in their life that is ultimately going to transition them out of depression and put them into a place where they are excited, happy, and joyful about living each and every day, wouldn't that be worth it? We have to change our mindset from looking at things as me into what it really is. If I make more money, I am going to bless my family. If I make more money, then I can spend more money at local businesses around me. Will those local businesses be able to make even more? Yes, they will. as I help more people create wealth in their lives, will it allow their families to be blessed? Yes, it will. Will it allow their communities that they live in to be able to thrive more than they are now? Yes, it absolutely will. So by helping out, by being there, by going out of your way and just not thinking about what you can get from this, when you start looking outwardly on how you can help, how can I help someone else out? Honestly, like, I cannot vouch for anything more than I can vouch for this. It lights a fire under your butt. Why? Because you understand that it's not for you. When you look in the mirror and you're like, I am out there doing this because I need to make mines, it's going to be very, very hard to work each and every day because you know you are screwing someone over to make a buck. But when you look outwardly and you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can say, I am doing this because I am going to change the lives of the people around me. I'm going to change their families' lives, and then it's going to expand out, and it's going to change their communities, and it's going to change their whole dynamic of what they were into what they are. If you can understand that your help, that what you are doing now, is going to impact the world, it's going to change so much, then you're going to work 10 times as hard because it's not a selfish game. When you can turn down a paycheck like I did recently, I could have been like, hey, yeah, man, sign up with me. Let me make this money. No, how can I help you make more money? I would rather turn down $3,000 every day of the week if I can help you make $3,000 for yourself. That's a long-lasting business because the people are going to like, trust, and want to be a part of my life because they know there is no ulterior motive. I'm not there to take their money. I'm not there to screw them over. I'm honestly there to help. Whenever you go out there and you help, it will never come back void. I can promise you that. All right, guys. Well, this is going to conclude this podcast episode. If you took something away from it, drop down in the comment section below what you took away from this episode. I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like down below if you liked it. If you think someone else will find value from this, share it because it makes me smile like I am right now. As always, let's go out there. Let's revive our lives together. Let's get it done. And until the next podcast episode, have a good one.